Hello everyone, once you've completed the tutorials in Lumion, we want to go ahead and work on your own project for your Farnsworth house rendering. So go ahead and close out from here. What I'd like you to do, you need to go back to the home page. So click on the floppy disk on the lower right hand side. Click there, we want to go ahead and create new. I'd like you to select the plain environment because I want you to add your own landscape. I want you to add the trees. I want you, if you want to add the Fox River, you can do that. If you want to add birds in the sky, change the time of year or the time of day, you can do that. All right. So go ahead and choose plain environment. And then from here, we want to import your SketchUp model of the Farnsworth house. Make sure you have your content library selected, so the little house on the left-hand side, and then imported models here selected. You want to go to place with the arrow pointing down. And then from here, I have some past projects and that's why they're showing up, but I want to import a new model. So hit the green button, import new model, search for your file, and then go to open. It'll give you the name of that file. Hit the little check mark for OK. And then once it brings it in, you are going to click to place it. Now notice how I had turned off the floor plan in my SketchUp file, and that's why it's not appearing here. I'm just going to just click anywhere to place it. Now notice it's going to want to place multiple. You don't need multiple models, so hit escape once you have one. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just go to my select mode. So I'm no longer placing anything. And I want to be able to see this project. So I'm going to be using the navigation keys. Right. So remember, D is to go to the left, or excuse me, D is good to go to the right. What I'm noticing here is on the right hand side, you can see it's sharing the navigation keys. So to go left is A, to go right is D, to go forward is W, to go back is S, okay? If you use your right mouse button, it's kind of to look around and to orbit, right? To lift your camera, it would be the letter Q, right? You can kind of look down on it, okay? Now, one of the things you're going to notice when we imported our models, even though we selected gray for the glass in SketchUp, it's appearing more blue, right? It's like a bluish color for the materials here. So I would like to change that. And if your glass is coming in with the blue, with a blue tint, I'd like you to change it as well. So how do we do that? Well, when we go into our materials, click on an imported model to modify its materials. Notice how it groups all the elements by the material. So this was the translucent glass gray in SketchUp. If I click on it, notice how I'm clicking on it. And then as I click on it, it's letting me know, oh, interior glass 2, right? Which is what that is here. And we want to change that. So you can go to your materials library and there are indoor materials, outdoor materials. Here it's clicking on glass. It already recognized it as being glass. You can change it for a different type of glass. And notice it's already changed it there. Okay. Now, if I go around, orbit around, oops, sorry. Notice how I can tell that this window is still different. This glass came in separate, if you recall, because they were blocks. They were already components that were created in 3D Warehouse that I shared with you. We want to change the material for that as well. So I'm going to click on that same interior glass and I'm going to paint. See if we can modify this here. Let's see. I want to select the model. And it's letting me know, hey, yeah, it's in that bluish color. I want to change that. There we go. I had to select it first. Okay. Now let's go to the opposite side because the door might be the same. Let's see. If it recognized it to be the same, yep, it recognized it. Cool. So we don't have to worry about changing that one. All right, so now we can see through the glass. Nice. All right, so I'm gonna hit save changes. We're not gonna mess with any other materials because you already have the travertine floors. You all already have the different whites. You have the dirty white there, right? So you already have all that information. You don't have to worry about that. But now we want to add the landscape. So we want to go back into our content library. And then from here in nature, you know that you have trees on the north, the east, and the west, right? East here, west here, south over here, north over here. So for the trees, we want to place. And we may choose to start with clusters. Now clusters, they didn't have it in earlier versions, so it's nice that they have it now. So it makes it easier when you're placing your trees and your landscape, right? And then you can edit these clusters. You can modify them. So here, I want to zoom out a little bit. I want to zoom out, go up a little bit higher. You want trees in varying heights for sure. And just various types of trees, right? You don't want it to look like you're just copying and pasting. Okay. So before this whole cluster option, you would have to create kind of your own where you would use the mass placement tool. So this is another tool available in Lumion where you would choose your trees. So for example, I can choose this one here, this Christmas Scottish pine, for example, right? Add that here. I'm gonna remove that one. There you go. And then add a different tree, because it's not just pines that are there. It means, if you recall the images that I've shared with you that you have in your resources, there we go. We have some broadleaf trees as well. We have a number of options. Let's see. So based off of the images I shared with you, right? So right now it looks more like a pine forest, and it's really not. Let's see. So let's add this one here. And that one. And what else do we have? That one, the cherry bark oak. So you can go through your different pages and find trees. You may want to add a little bit of color to a little bit of more variation, and you can continue adding. And then with mass placement, so let me just add some with color so that you can see the difference. Let's see. That one there and this one there. Okay. So for mass placement, for example, I'm going to left click, hold, and drag. And then I can control the number of items. I can increase that number of items, and then also the direction of them. I can randomize the direction. So again, it doesn't look like it copied and pasted them, and randomize the spacing between, and then the offset from the line. So they're not all on the center. Okay. And then the number of items, I can shift that too, right? Randomize direction and spacing between the line. You know, I can change all of that. So I may choose to use that instead of the clusters, in all honesty. Let's see. This is where I can go a little faster because I'm further out. Because right now, these clusters that I selected, they look like it's a pine forest when really it's not. So I might go back to, if I say, okay, that's good for now. If I delete, I can go back and delete these clusters. Maybe it's like, no, it doesn't work for this project. Work for the little bubble. May not work for the project. And instead, I may choose to do the mask placement and do more of that instead in a much greater range. Continue doing that in different directions, of course. And let's see, offset from line. I can even go further out. I don't want it to be hitting the building, right? And continue building. Now that's super, really wide, much wider than I probably want. But hopefully this gives you an idea of what you can do. Now, why is this important? Well, you want to populate it so that you can get your rendering. Remember, I'm only requiring one for this assignment. I'm only requiring one. So from here, once you've placed your trees, once you place your landscaping for this project, what I want you to do, I'm going to come down and I want to go ahead and maybe find a perspective that I like. Remember, you all saved perspectives, exterior perspectives for this project. Notice if I take a perspective at roughly this angle, and I can change the camera height, which I may need to. But notice how the forest, it kind of seems bare. I need more trees. I need more trees on the outside, right? I need more to work with. So I'm not ready 100% just yet. And then also our grass looks fake. We need to work on that. So a few things. We need to add more trees. If this is the perspective that we work with, I mean, we can choose any perspective. Maybe I go on the opposite side. Let's see if that's better. A little bit, so it looks like I'm approaching it, approaching the structure. Zoom out a little bit. And maybe I do something like this, but it's too bare. Regardless, it's too bare. So I need to add more trees for sure. Landscape. Okay. With landscape here, we have landscape grass. There's paint, there's height of landscape. So you can add mountains if you wanted to. You can add water if you're going to add the Fox River. So if you're taking a perspective from the other angle, you can add an ocean. For landscape grass, turn that on. Notice how now it's three-dimensional. Here it's flat, it's 2D. You want to make that three-dimensional, and you can make it a little bit more wild grass, right? You can change the grass size. You can play with the grass height, right? Don't put it too high because then you'll block that first step. And then how wild is the grass, right? Is it well maintained or not? So you can play around with that as well. Make sure you do that. Otherwise your grass looks fake. Okay. So I know for sure I need to go back and add more trees. Let's go up. So Q, I'm zooming out. I need to add more trees. Many more trees. Because if we looked at the site plan for this project, which you all have worked on, there's plenty more. So I might choose a different mask placement. I mean, add more trees here, add a little bit more color, right? I have to look at the images. Let me pull that up in case anyone would like to review what those look like. Assignment 6. Let's see, reference images. Here's some images of the site. Look at how large the tree is. We may want to add one of these trees right here in the front. So we don't have that yet. Yeah, they're broadleaf trees for sure. Yeah, I don't see any pines. Yellows, look how beautiful the reds, the oranges, the yellows. So maybe it's more of a fallscape. Here, if you're doing something in this perspective, the water, look at how close that is. Right, yeah, the reds. Yeah, we definitely need that tree up front for sure. Okay, broadleaf. Okay, so let's see. Maybe, and this is the thing that it's fun. It can take some time to do, right? For you to look through and find the elements that are going to work best for your project. Right, so let's see, like this tree, maybe this one is a not mass placement, but I just placed that one tree there. And if I don't like it, I can scale it. Oh, I added 2 on accident, so let me delete, let me zoom in. Let me see, move my camera up. Place, let's see, is that tree gonna work? No, it's too small. The good thing is it has a person there for scale. No. Let's see. There might just take a little while to find something that really works. I don't want to take too long. I mean, you guys are gonna spend some time doing this yourself. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add a tree here. I'm just looking at the scale of the trees. And we can always scale it if we don't like the scale, if it's too large or too small. Let's see. Oh no, that's the same one we had before. Okay, like this, for example, I can then scale it, make it bigger, either smaller, bigger, right? Okay. So I'm just gonna put that for now. Zoom out, let me just add some more trees out here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do a sample rendering. Again, you take the time you need to place your trees. There, a number of items, let's add many more. And continue adding more. Shift that a little bit. Since I'm gonna focus, actually I should focus on this end because with that tree, let's see. Another one here. Placement here. And that's placement here. And one more. Okay, now let's go back. Let's navigate. This is, I guess, where you would want to use shift if necessary. I don't want any more trees, so I'm going to hit select. Let's bring the camera down. Let's shift in orbit a little bit, move forward. Bring the camera down. Okay. So let's say something like this, per se. Okay, go to photo. And then you can customize the style, right? If this is an interior shot, if this is a night shot, daytime, dawn, overcast, color sketch, watercolor. I want it to be realistic. So I'm going to choose realistic. So notice the time of day. Notice the focal length, right? Real sky effects. So you can choose to turn it on or off, right? The brightness. So that's disable and enabled. It's disabled. It's enabled right now, excuse me. Sharpen, exposure, color correction. So right now, look at the time of day, right? And what that's going to look like. Reflection, hyperlight, skylight, shadow. Shadows are there, which is good. I see texture in the grass, which is good too. Oh, another thing to consider, notice how Lumion, because this is a free student version, it will give you a watermark. So you're going to want to crop that out in the end. Now you can move while you're in this mode. You can still maneuver around and you can crop that out later so that it doesn't appear. Okay, so you're in this preview mode as of right now. You can also add an effect, an FX, right? An effect where you can play with the perspective, the depth of field, if it's an orthographic view, if you're working with photo matching, reflectivity, all of this, color correction, right? There's a lot you can play with. Sky, the weather, the camera, if you're adding animation, if you want a more artistic look and certain enhancements if necessary. But I want to look at two things. So for the sun here, okay, sun height, I can shift that if necessary. So before it was like too low, it was like here. I can shift it up a little bit higher where I still have some shadows. Let's see. The sun heading, right? So where is it in the direction? Maybe I want a little bit of shadow showing there, and then the brightness. You know, how bright do you want the sun to be? So these are all different things that you can manipulate. You can still move here, maneuver if you're not 100% satisfied. So maybe you want something more dramatic, right? Give yourself enough space so you can crop this out. And let's see what it looks like. So when you're ready to render, all you're going to do is click on the store camera option here. If you're like, okay, well, I want to try a couple different views, right? You can zoom out, you can maneuver around. We can maneuver, we can zoom out a little bit more or do a different view, a different perspective. We can go around. I don't have enough trees there, so that may not look as nice, but let's see. That would be where the water is. I may want to add water there. So that might be another one. So I can click the store camera. Ooh, look at the difference. Notice how for this one, I didn't choose realistic. Right now, if I store it, it'll save it. I can continue maneuvering around. Maybe find another perspective that I like. Maybe something like that. Give yourself enough room on the right-hand side so you can crop that out. This I lose quite a bit because of the tree. I wanted that to be realistic style. The tree, I can change the transparency. So let's see. So here, custom realistic for that one. I want to store that to be realistic. If I go back to build mode, and if I click on the tree itself, notice transparency here. I can make it transparent. So it's kind of there, but it's not there. So we can see through it. Let's see what that looks like. If we go to photo. I don't know. I've never rendered like that before. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, we'll try. We'll see. I don't know. I've never tried that for this version. But once you have a couple to choose from, then you want to click on render. And notice how when you click on render, it lets you know, okay, do you want the current shot or the whole photo set? In this case, I want to choose the photo set. I want to do all four and then choose from there. Okay. Now you have some additional output options if you'd like. I'm not going to worry about those. And then what size do you want, right? What resolution do you want for these images? Poster and print is too large. If you can do desktop, great, if your machine will allow you to do so. Otherwise, email is still a good size, but you want to put this in your portfolio. So if you can do desktop, even better, because we want to put these on 11 by 17 sheets of your portfolio pages. So go ahead and select the size. And then this is A6. So first initial, first name, last name. underscore A6 rendering, save. And now it's rendering them. And you can watch how it's working to create these photorealistic images of your SketchUp model, the model that you worked on, that you've been working on. See this view, it looks good, but we need the water. So if you choose this side, make sure you add the Fox River, right? But you added the furniture, look at the shadows, look at the lighting, look at the reflectivity in the glass, right? This is why we use Lumion. And it's quick. We're talking about seconds here. Other rendering engines will take hours, if not days, to render. And here with the translucent tree, let's see. Oh, it's kind of adding it, kind of. It's like a ghost of a tree. You may decide for the rendering to remove it. Not sure, right? You might decide to remove it, but it wouldn't be true to the site. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't use that perspective. Rendering is complete. You hit OK, and then you go to that folder. You go to that folder where you saved your files. And so we can see it here. And here they are. These are your renderings. And remember, I'm only asking for you to turn in one. If you choose to submit more, you can for extra credit. Okay. You can submit more than one for extra credit. What I do ask right now, I'm in Windows and I'm previewing the photos in the Photos app. You can edit, so you can crop here. Let's see, edit to crop. So you can crop out the Lumion logo, right? Or you can Photoshop it out. And then that's what you're going to be submitting to me. Okay. As part of the drawings that you're turning in. Remember how we were saving these, right? You would choose which rendering you want to turn in. Okay. So let's see. So that's one, for example. Only one is required, but you may decide to submit more than one for extra credit. You just saw how easy that was. Okay. So you can Photoshop out the logo, or you can crop it. And this one I'll just put rendering 2, right? Or maybe I decide that this is the main one. So it's up to you how you save your files. Let's see. So maybe renderings, let's see, those are the renderings, and then the drawings are what you're submitting. Maybe this one's too, the one with the transparent tree. Again, you would be doing your own however you choose to. I'm just going over some options with you. Okay, rendering 1, rendering 2. So you would be turning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 images, and then plus any additional extra credit renderings for your assignment 6 submission. Okay, for your Farnsworth House case study 3-dimensional digital model. All right. Okay, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little long, but Lumion's a lot of fun. It's such a powerful tool, and you just saw how quick we were able to create this photorealistic image. If you have any questions about the assignment or about Lumion, please let me know. Okay, thank you so much.